Happy Friday! Welcome back to Kevin Toll Reads. Today I have a book review, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, book number 5 in the Harry Potter series. This massive book was published in 2003. I definitely enjoyed this book. Definitely a little bit of a downturn from the previous book, in my opinion, because my previous book was my first 5.0 book on the channel. But this was a really good entry. It has a lot that I liked, some things I disliked. We're going to jump into it. The summary of this book really, we're year 5 of Hogwarts. It really starts with the summer break. Harry's with the Dursleys. Him and Dudley get attacked one day by Dementors. Harry uses magic. The Ministry of Magic wants to put him on trial, take away everything, lock him away, throw away the key type thing. Dumbledore comes and saves him to his aid. And then, lo and behold, Harry learns about this Order of the Phoenix and this secret society. If you're, watched, book 4, there definitely is a kind of a decisiveness between the Ministry of Magic doesn't think that Voldemort's back, but everyone knows that he is, and there's definitely dissension towards Dumbledore and how he runs Hogwarts and all this stuff. And so the Ministry of Magic appoints Umbridge. God, I hate her. She becomes this High Inquisitor and basically makes everyone's life, including, Trelawney, Hagrid, other teachers, and the students, a living nightmare at Hogwarts. She oversteps her bounds. It's kind of like, it reminds me of like government control, overstepping their right to rule the people type thing. All the while you have some new magical creatures, and you have, again, Snape, is he good, is he bad? It's really kind of a 900-page book of just combustion that just builds and builds and builds. So that's pretty much the plot about this book. It's a lot of the magic, or the Ministry of Magic versus Hogwarts and Dumbledore and Harry at every chance they get. So a little bit of probably some spoilers ahead, but what I enjoyed, obviously Dumbledore steps in at the right times. There was a point, kind of like midway point, where I was like, why isn't Dumbledore doing anything? And I'll talk a little bit about that, but I was kind of annoyed by that. But then he definitely steps up, and we get to see Dumbledore doing some magic, and I thought that was really cool. Harry, he's an emotional mess in this thing. You can tell as he's growing, he's also getting very stressed about all the different things he's trying to keep in his relationships and with Hermione and Ron, but also Cho. I really like the Cho dynamic. They're just typical middle school year kids that don't, girlfriend boyfriend type thing, but they don't really know it, but they're just awkward about it. It's kind of funny. I like the dreams and the connection between Voldemort and Harry. Obviously he still feels these pains in his scar, but he's definitely starting to see through Voldemort's eyes, and Voldemort, and so they're very big about teaching Harry occlumency, where he can kind of clear his mind so that he doesn't have the dreams and there's not the connection between Voldemort and Harry. But there's a secret that Voldemort's after, and they're trying to uncover what this secret is, this prophecy type thing, and you kind of find out at the end what that is, and it ties to the prophecy about a child being born at a certain time that have the abilities to overthrow Voldemort and his power and blah blah blah. So you find out a little more in detail. That's very high level, especially the blah blah blahs. I definitely liked at the end, Umbridge and Fudge kind of getting their just deserves. I thought that was really cool. And it's satisfying, because if I jump from what I enjoyed to what I disliked, there's a huge contrast, and I'll get into that. But those are the things I enjoyed. I definitely liked the relationships. I loved Hagrid, and his half-brother giant that he brings back, and the backstory about him going and visiting with the different giants, and there's so few of them now, and the leaders and how they interact. I thought that was story and that kind of thread was really interesting. In terms of excerpts, there's nothing that really stands out. I just wanted to reach through the pages and strangle Fudge and Umbridge. I really did. There's no real experts here that just are poetic and remind me of anything. What I really feel bad for is Hagrid in the story, really, honestly. Really, some heartstrings towards him and his plight, so to speak. In terms of dislikes, again, Umbridge and Fudge, I wanted to kill him. Like, really, it was so over the top. Like, Rowling definitely wrote this well in the sense that it creates this dynamic, this us versus them dynamic that keeps the school year interesting. But I wanted Voldemort more. I mean, we don't really get much from him, especially after we get the duel in book 4. I really wanted him to play a bigger role here as we're leading up to the end books. So I was a little disappointed by that. Fudge and Umbridge, that was great, but it was so heavy-handed. Like, it just went on and on and on for far too long, I think, it is what it is because how it ended and how it sets up for the future, I think, is what I'm expecting. But I mean, man, I was getting over Umbridge, really. Towards the end, I was hoping to find, do something with her, about her, and it ends up going the way it does. But it was heavy-handed in my opinion. So in terms of overall, again, I really like this book. I mean, it's a 900-page beast. It definitely moves the story along to some degree. It gives the fifth year meaning as they're in their OWLS school year and doing those tests and stuff like that. I did also, one thing, I did like the fact that Harry was kind of building this Dumbledore army, because in teaching others the dark arts stuff, I really enjoyed that. I failed to mention that earlier. I really enjoyed that. He's teaching the other kids and they're looking up to him, and he's doing it in secret. And then Fudge and Umbridge go after him, but they try to expel him and all this because they decreed that you can't do that, because they were just throwing decrees out every day anytime they see something they don't like. I really enjoyed that. But overall, I enjoyed the story. It gets a little long-winded. Some of the plot threads, again, like Umbridge and Fudge, I think were heavy-handed. They went on a little too long. I wish there was more Voldemort here, but overall, this is a great entry. I give this a 4.6 out of 5, which is still really good. I'm really enjoying the series. I really am. It's just hard to top book 4 in my opinion. It was just so good. You really had to do something special here, and I think this is good. Don't get me wrong, but it's definitely not in book 4 in my opinion. So I'm looking forward to book 6 and book 7. I think they're smaller. But at the same time, I'm hoping I'm going to get where we're going to progress the story to the major conflict, the Harry and Voldemort going at each other, all the wizards and from the Dementors and Death Eaters against the school. I'm hoping this is going to come to a huge confrontation, because that's what I'm wanting. And so I hope we get there. But anyways, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, book 5 in the Harry Potter series, I give this a 4.6 out of 5. I hope you're having a great start to your weekend, and stay tuned because there's going to be more content over the weekend. Have a good one.